At around 4:30 Eastern Time this afternoon, the previously relatively unknown appointed governor of Arizona made herself famous.
I think it's very, very important that the people out there understand that Governor Jan Brewer of the great state of Arizona would always do what's right for the people of Arizona.
Referring to herself in the third person there, the first clue that what was unfolding was one of those stranger than fiction, you can't make this stuff up, Friday political press conferences. Today, Arizona's governor signed into law what we've not so affectionately been calling the Papers, Please bill. It's remarkable legislation that requires police officers in Arizona to demand the paperwork of anyone they think looks like he or she might be an illegal immigrant. And this wasn't just a press conference to announce that the governor was going to sign this bill into law. The governor actually signed the bill right there at the press conference in front of everybody as protesters massed on the streets of Arizona's cities and outside the Capitol building.
This bill, the Support Law Enforcement and Safe Neighborhoods Act, strengthens the laws of our state. It protects all of us, every Arizona citizen, and everyone here in our state lawfully. And it does so while ensuring that the constitutional rights of all in Arizona remain solid, stable, and steadfast.
Just to be clear, the steadfast upholding of constitutional rights here means that when this bill is enacted, you are presumed to be illegal in the state of Arizona. Anyone, anywhere in the state of Arizona will be eligible for arrest if a police officer thinks you might be an illegal immigrant and you can't on the spot prove otherwise. U.S. citizens can be arrested and held in jail if you don't have the right form of identification to show a police officer who doesn't think you look right. If it turns out you're actually a legal immigrant to this country, but you weren't carrying all of your immigration paperwork with you at the time, that's 6 months in jail for you and a $500 fine. If this sounds like racial profiling to you, Governor Brewer wants to assure you it most assuredly is not.
Racial profiling is illegal. It will not be tolerated in America, and it certainly will not be tolerated in Arizona.
Racial profiling illegal. It will remain illegal in Arizona except for the part where police officers now have to stop you if they think you look illegal. Other than that, there won't be any racial profiling in Arizona because that, of course, would be against the law. It's like when George Bush said we don't torture because torture is illegal. Instead, we just waterboard people. And yeah, we used to put people in prison for waterboarding people because it was torture. We do that now, but we don't torture because that would be illegal. Remember that argument? Same argument here. Racial profiling is illegal. We don't do illegal racial profiling. We do profiling that is somewhat racial, but not racial profiling that would be illegal. Because this bill has come under an enormous amount of scrutiny on the national level, Governor Brewer made a special point today of announcing what would happen if stuff like illegal racial profiling did miraculously, as a result of this bill, take place.
As committed as I am to protecting our state from crime associated with illegal immigration, I am equally committed to holding law enforcement accountable should this statute ever be misused to violate an individual's rights.
What would be misused, really? I mean, it would have to be misused? How about used as directed? This law says you have to show documentation if a police officer says you look illegal. That's not a misuse of the law. That's the actual law. The first question for Governor Brewer today at this press conference was about what basis a police officer could use to decide if someone looks illegal.
It seems to me that while the bill says race and ethnicity may not be used as the sole factor, it does allow them to be used as a factor. How can that not lead to some form of racial profiling?
No different than any other reasonable suspicion, Howie. I mean, we have to trust our law enforcement. It's a simple reality. Police officers are going to be respectful. They understand what their jobs are. They've taken an oath. And racial profiling is illegal.
It is illegal. Governor Brewer pointed out today that the law is against racial profiling because it says this. It says, quote, the Attorney General or county attorney shall not investigate complaints, as this reporter pointed out, that are based solely on race, color, or national origin. Based solely on race, color, or national origin. So would it count to not be based solely on race or color if it was based on, say, both race and color? If you want to identify the exact moment where any suspicion you might have had that you have gone down the rabbit hole at this press conference was completely verified by what you were seeing, it was probably this unbelievable moment.
What does an illegal immigrant look like? Does it look like me?
I do not know. I do not know what an illegal immigrant looks like. I can tell you that I think that there are people in Arizona that assume they know what an illegal immigrant looks like. I don't know if they know that for a fact or not. But I know that if AZ Post gets themselves together, works on this law, puts down the description, that the law will be enforced civilly, fairly, and without discriminatory points to it.
The law will be enforced without discriminatory points to it. As long as someone somewhere in the state of Arizona can figure out what an illegal immigrant looks like. So far, the governor says she hasn't figured it out. Until someone figures it out, everyone in the state of Arizona is presumed illegal. May I see your papers, please? Joining us now is Democratic Governor Bill Richardson.